All right, day two, part three, guys. Let's get right back at it. I mean, it's not normal for any child to turn against or reject a parent. It's just not in their DNA. It goes against literally everything, biologically, everything else within them for that matter. Like, it just doesn't happen. Sadly, this is even when, in the case when a child has a parent who is super abusive. This right there should tell you that like something is very, very fishy when this stuff is going on. When, we are rationally dependent species. Children form extremely deep bonds with their parents, and in a genuine conflict between a parent and a child, you're going to see, a typical pattern. You'll see a certain pattern that when the child is hurt by something that the parent did or didn't do, typically they're going to get mad and they're going to react back. They're going to react back at that parent. But I mean, deep down, and the reason why they do this is because the child wants a relationship with the parent and feels like if they can't achieve that, they react. And this is what they do. Essentially, they're going to get mad because this child wants that bond with the parent. They want that relationship. It's biological. It's in their DNA. And the only reaction they know how to go to is to become oppositional. It's normal. They get angry. They pull, they push away. When the big red flag is parental alienation, you don't see that any longer. You're going to see a very, very different pattern. There's going to be an absence of this. There's no, I am hurt because I love you. What you're going to see, and it's evident with me, is you're going to see a full-blown rejection of the parent. Almost like an issue with what they do. At the same time, they'll also adopt the other side of the storyline, which is that they're completely aligned with the alienating parent. The alienating parent is the most wonderful person in the world. They're so approved of. They're so wanted. They're so loving. Everything is great. They're happy, can do no wrong. When it comes to parental alienation dynamics, and this has got to raise the biggest red flag ever created in the world. Even if you or I offer that child the potential of being able to fix whatever problems are between them and the parent who is being alienated, myself, it'll get rejected. They allegedly will reject that offer, but that's not normal. That's tipping you off to the fact that this rejection isn't really happening because this child really loves the parent, but just feels like, they need to respond. Something needs to be resolved first because they were hurt. It's not. I think you know where I'm going to go with this. This is coming from somewhere completely different. This is coming from somewhere completely else. Their motivation for rejecting the parent, for me being rejected, is not a normal relationship process, is what I'm trying to tell you. Like that, the love this child feels for this parent is now deeply suppressed. And as it just so happens, the thing that could make a child go against their own parent, their father, their mother, their own nature by turning against the parent, is if the child perceives themselves to be actually more unsafe if they don't do this. So this is the ultimate lose-lose for a child, right? Think about that. They're more unsafe if they don't reject that parent. So knowing that children perceive their security to depend on their bond, even with abusive parents, This means that it takes something truly, truly unnatural and unusual to get a child to do that. And this is why parental alienation it's so bad. You should be very afraid if a parent is acting workable with a child and the child is not acting workable in return. It's a big, big, big problem. That's a big red flag. That child is being abused. When it comes to parental alienation, because that child has become a pawn in this triangulation game that we talked about against one of their parents, the child will become an accessory to the attack. It's not as straightforward as the child simply rejecting or withdrawing from the parent to stay safe. The child will actually gain safety and security with the alienating parent, if that makes sense, by going against the parent being alienated. They prove their allegiance by carrying out this agenda of the alienating parent, and I'm seeing it. They'll start to behave in oppositional ways that they've never done before. Sometimes they'll be hostile, they'll be defiant, they'll be abusive. There's a lot of different things. They'll put you in timeouts. And when I respond to that, or when the alienated parent reacts to that, even if it's a perfectly reasonable way, an understandable way, the child, as well as the alienating parent, uses that as proof that, look at him. The alienated parent is horrible. Look at the way he responded to that. The response that the parent has to their poor behavior will become the justification for the anger the child has towards me or towards the alienated parent. Imagine that. How dare you question your child's desire to sever your relationship? There's a pattern problem there that you should recognize. You need to recognize. This is exactly why I am deciding to tell this story. Any response that the alienated parent has will ensure that the narrative of the alienating parent, that, I deserve that. I deserve that treatment. I deserve to be blocked on a phone, or, I deserve to not be able to see my child. And that's how they explain it away, because of my response. I need to be punished in some kind of way because of my response to being alienated. The alienated parent will be out of control. Will be out of control of their child's behavior, in contrast to the alienating parent. I'll have no control. My son or the alienated child will behave perfectly to everybody else. He'll be like a puppet in a ventriloquist act. He'll say all of the right things and act in all the right way, but there's a tendency when children act super well behaved, that people recognize this as a marker of health, right? Without recognizing that this child is potentially totally gone. He's just not there anymore. He's simply doing exactly what one parent is grooming him to do. So going back, this child is going to be one that provokes negative patterns of interaction between themselves and the alienated parent. The child is not only a pawn, now he or she has become a weapon. The child, in essence, has become an external reflection or manifestation of the alienating parent's psychology. trying to keep these things to 10 minutes, guys. Sorry. Power and control, I mean, it's such a big part of this. Parental alienation is designed to grant the alienating parent with all of the power in the relationship and all of the control. That's what's happening. All right, I'm going to take a break right here.